Did you know popes once led armies into battle and wore crowns that rivaled kings? It's shocking to think the Vicar of Christ was once a warrior and a kingmaker, yet today's papacy looks so different. In this video, we're uncovering 10 astonishing things popes used to do but don't anymore. Practices that reveal how the Church has evolved to reflect Christ's humility. These changes hold powerful lessons for every Catholic seeking to deepen their faith. Stick with me until the end to see how they can transform your spiritual life. If this journey excites you, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell to never miss a message that could bring you closer to God. Let's dive in. First, picture a pope in a flowing white falda, a skirt symbolizing purity, paired with a red mantle carried by attendants to display his authority. After Vatican II, Pope Paul VI abandoned these for simplicity, urging us to focus on inner holiness, not outward grandeur. Ask yourself, are you seeking the purity of heart Jesus calls us to? Let's dive deeper into this astonishing journey through the Church's history, where popes once held sway over kingdoms and shaped the world in ways that might shock you today. The papacy wasn't always the humble pastoral role we see now. It was a powerhouse of spiritual and earthly authority. These abandoned practices we're exploring aren't just relics of the past. They're a mirror for our own spiritual lives, urging us to reflect on how we live our faith. As we uncover these historical shifts, let's ask ourselves, how can they inspire us to grow closer to Christ? Let's continue this story, drawing lessons to strengthen our souls. Picture a time when popes appointed lay cardinals, nobles, not priests, who helped steer the Church's course. Men like Teodulfo Myrtle, the last lay cardinal until 1899, brought political savvy and worldly connections to the College of Cardinals. Back when the Church ruled the Papal States, this made sense. Popes needed allies to govern vast territories. But when those lands were lost in 1870, the Church's mission shifted to spiritual leadership. By 1917, canon law required cardinals to be ordained, ensuring a clergy fully devoted to God's work. This change speaks to us today. Every Catholic, whether lay or ordained, has a unique calling. Think of a parishioner who volunteers at a soup kitchen or teaches catechism, small acts that echo the Church's mission. Are you using your gifts to serve Christ's body? Perhaps it's time to join a ministry or share your faith with a friend. Start small, but start today. Now, imagine the noble and Palatine Guards, elite units of cavalry and infantry, escorting the Pope with gleaming sabers and 19th-century uniforms. Formed in the 1800s, they symbolized the papacy's temporal might, projecting an image of power. In 1970, Pope Paul VI disbanded them, keeping only the Swiss Guard to embrace simplicity over militaristic pomp. This reflects Jesus' call to serve, not rule. I heard of a Catholic man who gave up a flashy career to serve the poor, finding true joy in humility. What about you? Are there displays of pride, perhaps in how you present yourself or seek approval, that overshadow your call to serve? Try this. Spend a moment in prayer today, asking God to show you where you can simplify your life to reflect His love more clearly. Then, there's the sedia gestatoria, a cushioned throne carried on the shoulders of 12 attendants, lifting the Pope above crowds in places like St. Peter's Basilica. Used until John Paul IV in 1978, it symbolized authority, but also distance. After surviving an assassination attempt in 1981, John Paul II chose the Pope-mobile, prioritizing safety and closeness to the faithful. This shift mirrors Christ's ministry among the marginalized. Think of a time you reached out to someone lonely, a coworker, a neighbor, and saw their face light up. That's the accessibility the Church now embraces. How can you make yourself more approachable? Maybe it's a smile to a stranger or a kind word to someone struggling. These acts reflect the Gospel's call to love. Try it this week. Seek out one person who needs your compassion and make a difference. The Quirinal Palace, a grand hilltop residence in Rome, was once the Pope's summer home, favored for its cool breezes over the Vatican's swampy air. From the 17th century until 1870, it hosted conclaves and councils, a hub of papal power. But when Italy unified and seized it, popes retreated to Vatican City, formalized as sovereign in 1929. This loss of earthly grandeur forced the Church to focus on spiritual leadership. It's a powerful reminder. Our true home is with God, not in worldly palaces. I know a woman who downsized her home to fund a mission trip, finding deeper peace in serving others. Are you clinging to material things, possessions, status, that distract from eternal treasures? Take 5 minutes tonight to reflect. What's one thing you can let go of to focus on God's kingdom? Now, picture popes leading armies into battle. In the Middle Ages, figures like Julius II, the warrior pope, donned armor to defend the papal states, like during the 1511 siege of Mirandola. This dual role as spiritual and temporal ruler was common, but as nation-states rose and warfare professionalized, it faded. Today, popes like Francis call for peace, echoing Jesus' command to love our enemies. Consider a story of a Catholic who forgave a family member after years of resentment, finding freedom in reconciliation. Are there battles in your life, anger, grudges, that you need to surrender? Try this. Pray the Our Father slowly, focusing on, "Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive others." It's a step toward God's peace. The papal tiara, a triple crown sparkling with jewels, once symbolized the Pope's authority over church and state. Worn during coronations until Paul VI in 1963, it was donated to charity, a bold act of humility. This teaches us to release pride and embrace gospel simplicity. I read about a man who gave up social media to spend more time in prayer, discovering a deeper connection with God. What attachments hold you back? Maybe it's time to cut back on distractions, TV, endless scrolling, and dedicate 10 minutes daily to the rosary or scripture. This small change can open your heart to God's grace. Popes also crowned emperors, like Leo III with Charlemagne in 800, tying earthly rulers to the Church's authority. This practice ended with the Holy Roman Empire in 1806, as the papacy shifted to spiritual guidance. It reminds us that true authority lies in serving God, not chasing titles. Think of a teacher who quietly mentors students, reflecting Christ's servant heart. Are you seeking God's approval above worldly recognition? Try writing down one way you can serve others this week, perhaps volunteering or encouraging a friend in faith. These practices show the Church's journey from worldly power to spiritual mission, challenging us to live authentically as Catholics. Start today. Examine your conscience for 5 minutes before bed. Ask, am I living for God or myself? Confession can be a powerful next step. Schedule it this week. Prayer, like the Divine Mercy Chaplet at 3 p.m., can draw you closer to Christ. I heard of a young woman who began praying it daily and felt God's peace transform her anxieties. These historical shifts aren't just stories, they're calls to action. Let's keep exploring how the papacy's evolution inspires us to deepen our faith and live for God. We've journeyed through a remarkable history, and now we reach the final practices popes have left behind. Popes once crowned emperors, like Charlemagne in 800, wielding authority over kings. This ended with the Holy Roman Empire in 1806, as the Church embraced spiritual guidance over earthly power. It reminds us to seek God's approval, not worldly titles. Are you living for His glory? Then popes summoned crusades like Urban II in 1095, rallying Christians for holy wars. Today the Church calls for peace, urging us to fight spiritual battles with prayer. Finally, mass excommunications, once common to enforce authority, are now rare, reflecting Christ's mercy. These changes show the papacy's shift to humility and love, challenging us to forgive and reconcile. Start today. Pray the Rosary or examine your conscience to grow closer to God. Share your faith journey in the comments. What's one step you'll take? Hit subscribe and the bell to stay inspired, and check our next video on praying the Rosary right. Let's walk toward Christ together.